Don't drink any of the water out of the
Oh,
tap.
yes.
We've got plenty of people run out of.
Cold water, there's hot water, fruit juices, squashes, etc. But yes, water in the closets. Please don't. Okay? Well, not unless you like me, Jill. Any other bugs or anything else? Okay, thanks. We'll call you once things get underway.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else to add?
We had anything from such.
What we were worried about with H5. This exercise gives an opportunity to participate and to observe what basic vaccination centre, which is what we're trying out today. We will look at other
play act that role.
Yeah, we haven't got as an Annie.
Oh, yeah. But that's the sort of thing. People are told when they've had their vaccination that they have to wait 10 minutes before they can leave the building because of that fact. Some vaccines have things like are you allergic to eggs, and the main sort of health role is that every time you see someone, you have to check that they are who they say they are. And even though it says Joe Bloggs on the form, they could be Mary Bloggs carrying Joe's form. So.
A formal registration as a patient, and then from then on they will be level 3. Our friends in Raynette are providing the comms between here and Sutton. Established, right. Hasn't made it yet, but certainly one of the seminars I went to that time was particularly good.
So that's it really. We've just got various forms. What we'd like to do is effectively play the role. But are you all voting first aiders? So you can do exercises,
Thank you to our friends from the Red Cross for coming along. I understand that they've got some particularly big syringes to give the vaccination for this, so that should be all right. Specifically this exercise, just introduce myself. I'm Michael Blackwell. I'm one of the regional advisors for community resilience. My patch is actually the south and the southwest. They pull me into the southeast every so often to help out. For the Raynette people, I'm G8ARH as well, and have been in the past a Raynette member, but not currently. Right. Some of you have been here before. We did a deployment once before. You'll hopefully notice that the building has been tidied up somewhat since then. And the whole purpose of this exercise is basically to show what this building can be used for should there be an emergency by any of the Cat 1 responders under the Civil Contingencies Act 2004, which a number of you here are studying. Yes. Make sure they've got 2 arms, 2 legs and a head and they can still walk. If they can't walk, they can do something else. We did have a little here, but the people who are going to be vaccinated in all the various rooms we've got around here will register to understand potential charitable use to test and demonstrate specific emergency use, namely
assume they've got themselves into the building.
Will you find out whether the minibus of people have arrived and what time they're looking to send the first 4x4?
Yeah.
Oh, no, did it?
Yeah.
Marvin.
The rest of the course we're going to get
And
one left, 35 people.
Yeah.
Oh, coach 2 is left, there's only 6 men.
I have done scenario
It's basically up to
in Plymouth. We had the football club.
The theory is that under such a crisis that the statutory responders will be overburdened. So the idea is the volunteer centre will come in and help with some of the stuff that they would be skilled to do. So obviously not the injection.
I don't know. I'm not an expert. There are all sorts of problems out there, potential ones. I think the biggest danger, as I understand it, is if somebody contracts one disease and then
So although there's a big
If you're a lucky man, you'll have a personalised what's it?
Is it a personalised one, is it?
where do I? From our staff. So they'll all get paid.
Next floor.
right.
I've got one of your.
Oh, right, yes.
Do you want sort of general messages?
It's only about 15 weeks to teach them the way it's going.
Is it looking to your expectation? Is it what you thought it would be? Are you getting out of it what you wanted to get out of it?
It's warming up. Right.
You're not filming me now, are
Yes.
Your role would be seen to be, sometimes it's the hand holding for the nervous and the sight of the uniform and a friendly face, but it's the standard triage thing, but all the triage forms are all there complete, so it's just a matter of going through the forms with people. And you
Very much backed by the voluntary sector to do these sorts of things. And before anyone thinks, certainly from your studies, I would hope, I'm quite capable of mutating and can and probably will at some time, not long overdue for a major world pandemic, according to him. So, you know, he knows more about it than I do, but we are, and it will.
So that's it really. We've just got various forms. What we like to do is effectively play the role. But are you all learning to go through this? So
information sheet, which they will have to read and fill in the back. They're then going to hand that information sheet back in, and then as triage staff, you'll each have a little room, an office, like space, and you'll come out, pick up the next triage thing, call their name out, and take them back into the triage room. So you'll go through the back of the information sheet with them. I've not actually got one on me, they're downstairs, upstairs, and check their ID, ensure that it's been filled out correctly, check the consent form for allergies or medication. So in the exercise, this is going to be an egg roe allergy vaccine. So that if they put down, oh, I'm lactose further information.
whatever question they ask.
Need to read the data protection statement that I've printed copies out, and there's one in each room. But for the purpose of the exercise, and let them sign it in your presence, and then direct them to the third floor, which we are using for the actual vaccination. Okay. I've done your open, so we need to make sure that you've attended a briefing session, which is here. And when you get into your rooms, ensure a copy of the patient journey flowchart.
areas to get the maximum people in. So obviously an area this size, we get a lot more chairs out of this. We can get 150 people. The registration table, where we're going to
Not very exciting.
Making some calls or whatever.
Yep. M3JCT, this is G7KNS, radio check over.
Yeah, don't look at me there.
Oh, right.
Perhaps write something down once you've done it. Sorry.
Yeah, he's not there at the moment,
Yeah,
he's being
yeah.
briefed, so I shall make it, pretend that I'm talking on the radio.
And so something going on the radio?
Yeah. Hello all stations, briefing taking place at Sutton now, so I'll let you know when they're starting off.
Born now.
And that is just something to remind you of what you're doing, okay? So just make sure that if you want to do downstairs, you check the forms, just give it a tick. So if you get any point that you don't know what you're doing,
If you just check and do you say yes?
just tick it, and if it was wrong, say no, step back, find the right one. Okay?
No, that's the floor.
They're on this one, that's it.
Action!
Man, I'm laughing now.
And do this. No, to the next patient to come through.
Oh, okay.
Right, so we've got a clinical lead and two volunteers. Two volunteers.
You're the clinical lead.
I just can't find the I don't know. Oh, that's
What was the rest of that entail?
You get to do the injections.
Oh wow,
Yeah, because
short
we
of that.
get to know the fans, the supporters.
Yeah.
So first, I have been going there for the whole season, and then we know already the same people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they
of
keep
course
coming
you
back.
do.
Yes,
Yeah.
they have the seasonal tickets.
Yeah.
They've got people out of the building. That's the rest of it's not their partnership. The health service and the local authority, their planning and their actual actions tend to be much longer term because police, ambulance, fire service deal with an incident. You just walk back through the shot again. Action. Oh, they're coming in that way, are they?
Okay. Let's do that as well. Four, 23. Okay, and this will be given to Greta.
Thank you very much.
For you to fill out as well for vaccination. If you'd like to go to that leave and you will provide for you.
Very good. So, your name, please?
Abby Thomas?
Abby Thomas, very good. So, you were given verbal advice?
Yeah, thank you.
224. Stop. Okay. So, 224. Okay. Yes.
Tell me there'd be a full critical examination. Yeah, Jimmy said he's mates with him. He told the bloke upstairs that he's come off the street. Yes, it's on.
There's another one up in one of the offices upstairs, the corner, and I was saying to Colin, there's about half a dozen big UPSs here.
So, can you guys sit down there, have your chat whilst sitting down there?
Yeah, sure thing. Okay. The only thing that basically goes wrong with UPS.
Two passengers in vehicle A, left Tottenham, ETA 30 minutes. Now.
The only thing that basically goes wrong with UPS is the batteries.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to build some resilience into Aylesford, there's half a dozen UPSs you could take from here, put new batteries in.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's one of the things that we're looking at the moment in terms of the resilience, because we had a power failure.
Yeah, I know you did, yeah.
So anyway, back to the exercise at hand. Back to the exercise, so yes. Is that all right?
Yeah, it's fine.
Excellent. I think this is perfectly suitable if we were to deploy this as an emergency facility for this. I think this would be absolutely on the money.
It is now, yeah.
So you've been tied up.
Okay. And your last meal?
My last meal was custard creams.
Custard creams, just now. Okay, that's not a problem. Right, so signs and symptoms that you may have when you're having this vaccination. They may have incurred diarrhea, vomiting, mouth-feel, dehydration. Just do keep up with your fluids for that. And if you have any sore arms, swollen red skin, it's possible bruising around the area or injection. So if it gets inflamed and it gets hot, get a cold pack onto it just to keep yourself keep it cool as possible. And take your painkillers as well, ibuprofen, paracetamol, and that should help alleviate the symptoms as well. And as well, continue moving on regularly as well to avoid any tension you may have within the muscle. Right? So, anyone here, according to the scenario. Okay, good. And illustration number 4. And then okay. I need to do that as well. Okay, and this will be given to Greta.
Thank you very much.
For you to fill out as well for vaccination. If you'd like to go to that leave, and she will fill out for you.
Very good. So, your name, please?
Abby Thomas.
Abby Thomas, very good. So, you were given verbal advice?
Yes, thank you.
224. Okay. So, 224. Okay. Yes. 28/02/2014. Time. We could have somebody else already being there. 12:06. 12:06. No. Yes. Then I get the.
Oh, you do this bit.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. So, signed. Signed. The flu. The flu. Very good. So next time you come, make sure that you have this so the next person knows. Okay? Thank you very much. Brilliant. Have a good life. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Okay.
The next room, we're going to have one of these reviews. This is a form filling, and you will
Yes.
do the vaccination thing. And then we'll do the advice.
In two different rooms.
The different rooms again, yes.
Okay,
We're
very
going to
good.
try it that way there, because those these will be just sitting down doing nothing.
Okay.
The coldest area.
Yes.
You can presume it's a clean pair of gloves every time, isn't it?
Every time I clean pair of gloves. Okay, so this is the third person. We have to have a third person already in there explaining everything, you know? And explaining on like only.
What you actually need is somebody here, one of the other assistants, just to go and get the person each time, don't you? It's wasting your time going to get somebody.
Exactly. Our time, I mean, in order to optimize, I have to simply give the shot and write the batch number.
Yeah.
He has, the documentation has to be already checked at the door, I think. And he has just to.
Thank you very much. Okay. So.
You need to put a mask on as well, sorry.
Okay, I'll get you
I'd have thought so.
There.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Hey.
I love that face mask.
Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Hey, my name is Chris. What's your name?
Jason Manford.
Just nice to meet you, Jason. Okay. Do you have any bit of ID on you that we can have to show that you really are?
Do you want me to pretend that? Hold on. You know what? I've got it in my stuff out there. Do you want me to go and get it?
If you would, very as quick as you can, and
Okay.
as well, what you could have done as well was provide.
Yeah, I couldn't because I made up all the details on the thing upstairs and
Yeah,
I
so
cannot
you-
possibly remember them all.
So you got that form in there as well in the other room?
No, that was left. That was. Okay, but let me bear with me.
Sure. Grab that form if you got it, please.
This happened.
Can you put your mask on,
downstairs.
please?
Let me put the gloves there. Although I do not need because I'm not too.
No, you don't need them at the moment, no.
So.
We're helping out downstairs in the admin building.
Yes.
So we know.
So, people do come here with a couple of documents already written that have been checked downstairs. Anyway, so collect the next patient or room, export to the room, to your vaccination room. Very good. We will try to get a third person to do this for us, so we don't have.
And his birth is 8th of May, 1970. Thank you. Okay. So the verbal advice was given, yes, by myself.
What verbal advice?
Oh, sorry. Okay. So, okay. So we have two different types of vaccines. We have an egg-based one, and we have one that's useful for lactose tolerant, those who are diabetics. Do you have any medical conditions you have yourself?
Nut allergy.
Nut allergy. Okay, so you should be fine with the vaccination we'll provide. So that's an egg-based one. Do you have any other medical conditions apart from nut allergy? Any previous medical history that you have? Okay, and your last so, vaccine. Yeah, vaccine is given. Apart from that, as well, when you're having the vaccine, we have here the symptoms that you may have, which you should have read through. Yeah. Okay, so any of the conditions you have, diarrhea, vomiting, mild fever, dehydration, and you have sore, swollen from the arm that's moving regularly, and any bruising or burning on the area, put a cold outline to it, and as well take any painkillers if necessary as well to help reduce the symptoms. Okay, so back to number.
So that's fine.
We might need a few more tables to put the pieces on.
Do we know where they are? More tables?
Dotted in and out of the room.
Well, yeah, we'll just grab. There's one in there and there's one in there. That'll be fine.
It's going to shock somebody.
I'm going to do the injection and then go for a play.
Doing your own injection?
Yeah, and I'll grab down the top.
You've been forgotten, Morgan.
I have. I've just pushed himself to the front.
Yeah, he's getting that on camera quick.
Yeah.
That's a big man. I think
Feel a bit of rejection about
I am, yeah.
Not yet, but we are testing a couple of scenarios. So this will be the next one, yeah. So this, I don't know what happened.
Okay, we'll do this one again.
Okay.
I'll do this one again.
I wasn't.
Take no minute. Sorry about this. This will sort it out soon. Okay, Morgan.
Yes,
Okay,
indeed.
do you have any ID that you have show proof of your identification, please? Thank you very much. And any
Need mask on again.
yes, mask on. Contaminated area.
He's got the plague, that's why he's left to last.
Indeed. Okay, so do you have any medical condition that you have?
No medical conditions that I'm aware of.
No allergies?
Only the mother-in-law. That's the only one.
Okay, any previous medical history as well?
No, no.
Okay, your last meal?
My last meal was probably about an hour ago at a bacon sandwich at Greasy Joe's over the road.
Okay. Did you have the vaccine?
It's the false one.
Do you have an idea?
I'll pretend I do.
Yeah. Then just double check your name and this one.
Yeah, Dennis Stone, 54.
And go. And once more, please. You come back. And action. You know, you could have gone through then.
Yeah, well, where am I going? What's my name?
Hello, Alice, I need this
Yeah.
Yes. Would you
Don't
like
try
to
to
come?
pronounce the surname.
Would you? Would you like to come this way? Okay, can you show me your ID, please, Miss Tracy Brown? Eva. Oh, Eva. You're not Tracy. You're Eva. So, who's Tracy?
Oh no, this was from downstairs. I'm Tracy.
Because this one doesn't. Because your identity here says you're
No.
Eva, and this is Tracy. So, I'm afraid I cannot do anything.
Okay.
Okay. I'll bring you down to my colleague, and then we see what happens. Yeah. This way, please, Eva. Can you please wait a minute, yeah? Until my colleague comes around. Okay. How have you been? Have you had anything to drink or eat today? Okay. And how are you feeling? Tea and coffee. Okay. Hi. My colleague is going to come in a minute, yeah? Okay.
Sorry?
Okay, wait 1 minute. Yeah, okay. We are having the vaccination today, yeah. We got vaccination. What exactly is your name? Is it Eva, Tracy, or Brown, or? So, yeah, I'm waiting for my colleague to bring you downstairs, okay?
pretty long. 1 minute, yeah? Yes. Sorry about that. Your age, right? Yes. And your phone number is 0271345. District 9.
Not now.
6 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not using any more medication at the moment? No. But you carry it.
Any complications with medical condition as well? Okay. I was going to get that checked out there. When I was going to speak to one of our nurses about that. In fact, I might as well just let you go through the process.
That's your dad, yeah? And this is your mom, okay? So, and I've got this one data protection statement for you to read, yeah? Okay, you happy with that?
Yeah.
And have you got any questions that you would like to ask or anything?
No, I'm okay.
You sure, yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I've checked your identity, right?
Yeah.
It's all there. Allergies I've checked.
Yeah.
Peanuts here. Allergies on peanuts here. And then you have no questions to ask. You have read this, right?
When you worry, it's work. It's yes, very much so, very much so. But apart from that, the whole place is warmed up nicely. It's no problem at all. So we've looked after the welfare.
Hello. Very good. Thank you very much. I am very not bad, not bad. Very good. Wouldn't you have a second form? Yeah, you would.
Yes, yes.
Should have a vaccination form, but
However, yes.
Yes.
I'll show you how it is. Do you know what it is? That would be like this. A form like this. Have you ever seen this form before?
Yes, yes.
Can I ask you why you don't have it with you? You were not given?
Was not given that form.
This one.
Not this time now.
You were only given this one.
Yes.
Very good. So, Houston, we have a problem. Very good. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do like if you had this form.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
And then we will make a note and try to understand why the person,
please come with me.
entails. Well, I suppose you did read this, no?
Yeah.
Do you have any doubts about signs and symptoms
No.
and possible side effects and how to
Just take me into that room for a moment. Yeah.
this room.
Yeah, please. Yeah, but can you do it without turning around to me?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Okay, go for it. Okay, you can now come out and go to your proper room.
What vaccination is?
Not really, no.
No. Very good. That's interesting. So that's my colleague's job. He's an expert in vaccination.
What's your vaccination on today?
Disease X or something.
Disease X or the yellow fever right now?
Disease X, I've read.
They said your registration when you came here. Sat in triage, vaccination, and then go sit outside for 10 minutes afterwards, in case you get ill.
Okay.
And then go.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. This is really okay. May I ask for the proof of identification that you have that shows who you really are? Okay. So just for confidential purposes, so we know who we are. So do you have an ID on you?
I suppose no ID on me.
Okay, well that's fine. What's your date of birth?
28th June 59.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Okay. Right. Thank you. Bill. Okay. There's no allergies and medical history. None. Let's see if we asking those questions. Okay. It's some of you probably familiar. This is a egg-based vaccination. So it attacks the egg of the virus, and it will just terminate it within a week. So you should be feeling much better by then. Do you have any other form of medical history that I need to be aware of? Nothing else. Okay. What was your last meeting? Last night. Okay. Alright. Quite a way. Okay. So, do you have any questions to ask me? No. Alright. Have you had the tetanus virus within the last 10 years?
No, I don't think so.
Or yellow fever virus vaccination? Okay, that's fine. Alright, we'll go to the next step, which will administer the vaccine for you. Okay? Right, if you'd like to please unravel your sleeves and take your arm out, and I could administer the drug.
Okay. For real.
Whichever one. Do you have any phobia meals? No. Okay. So you hit that button and go all the way up as far as you can get. Okay. Alright, so do you want to stand up or sit down while you're doing it? Okay. Alright, so I am administering it now. Soft scratch. And we're going in. And you're done. Alright, wonderful. Okay, so just let me get this signed up for you. Okay. Please follow these instructions that you have here, the sign symptoms of what
Did they read the data protection statement? No. You have to tell us because then, no, excellent. No. That's something that goes into my little list here, data protection. Protection. State. Your information is not going to be given away to absolutely anybody else. We're not going to sell it. We're not going to. This will be filed under the council, I think, isn't it? Under the council's, because this is a council operation, isn't it? Council-based operation, isn't it?
So I can guarantee that my information is going to be kept.
It's guaranteed, yeah. Guaranteed. Whoever checked you did not check correctly. Look, the date, and it was not in your registration number.
No, I only got my
Very good.
drinks and rice.
So 822-6301, 20-02-14. The flu. Registration. Very good. Now, okay, would you like to give her the vaccine while we'll finish the thing? So please do keep it on your records, with your records. Yeah? Yes. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah.
That's your one?
That's yours?
This one.
Yep.
Yes, keep with the records. This is, you will take all this, little information if in case you haven't. If something different from this happens, do not hesitate, NHS.
Okay.
Local GP.
Local
Can I
GP.
phone 24 hours?
Yeah.
Your local GP?
Or the NHS? Can I phone anytime?
NHS direct, yeah.
I think we eventually there would be a phone, isn't it? But if there is no phone, and if your GP is not at the surgery, and then you go to any A, but I think there would be a number if something happens. I think.
My hand is beginning to feel a little bit sore. Is that normal?
That is normal. So, do you have any heat packs at home? No.
No, I don't.
I'll tell you how. Do you have an iron?
Yeah?
Yes. So, get a piece of.
I didn't want to buy it.
Take the deadline. But if I had to do something like closing, like closing.
His career opportunity that's going to be covered in film now.
Thinking of taking a picture behind you, so I get the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you do
Yeah.
your thing.
And anyone can join me a little bit later on down the pub for that. I'm not buying you all a drink, by the way. That's before we get on to that. This is great. What is really, really important for us as a charity, Emergency Aid, is to demonstrate future charitable use of the buildings that we have leases for use to help protect the public in an instant or an emergency. What we have tried to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is start to work the numbers, work the process, and test whether or not this building could be used as a mass vaccination centre if a pandemic flu incident was to hit the UK. So it's been great that we've had volunteers here to walk through the process. Thank you very much to British Red Cross assisting us with some of the work in terms of the medical side and the triage side. Thank you to the exercise team as well for setting this up. As part of our demonstration of charitable use, we do a lot of training and demonstration exercises, for which this is one of them. We do them rough. Thank you all to each floor so we can have a quick look and a quick discussion about what uses, what emergency response uses those particular floors in this building could also be in. So if you're ever deployed again here, for real, if the local authority were to take on this building under licence, opportunity for you to be familiar with the building, how it works, and what it could be used for. Does that sound sensible? So just over the next 20 odd minutes or so, I'd just like to quickly run through each of the floors with you. So we'll clamber up to the top floor. So
That's all right. Ah, something tells me that to be a full bar. Oh, it's like a cafeteria. Full clips and get the bath from there to here. Yeah.
I've been to that pub.
Oh, we are some pub. Oh yeah, I remember that pub.
It's like really good like pictures and exercise. It's like guys, amateurs here. Yeah.
we do have kitchen facilities which could be put back into use if necessary, but we also have set up kind of like a bedroom stroke rest area, quiet area as well. As you can imagine, for responders, and I'm an ex-local authority, worked in rest centres in particular at the sharp end, it can get quite intense. It can get quite intense. And one of the things I've always wanted to do as a coordinator or commander is to make sure that the guys have plenty of rest breaks. I know in the fire service they do it much more regularly, they have a lot more staff. We will be in a position where we would just want to try and get people removed quite regularly, so at least they are they have some sort of rest away. So our suggestion would be that if you come to this building or something similar, always try and look for an area where people can get away, and this is absolutely ideal. So this is a survey area which we could ultimately.
I think we can say
So, could I come in a little bit more? Could you, are you taking photos, Christine? So, that's it. Have a seat. Have a seat. There we go. It's your students.
Yes.
Hey! What a surprise. There we go.
Surprised not asleep.
Yeah, I know.
We that don't schedule soon.
So what we encourage you in terms of this man. Yeah, there we go. There you go. Sleep on the job. Brilliant. As you can see, what this could be used at is a particularly suitable rest area. You can be used for evacuation. This sort of set up with camp beds and the like. Clearly, if the local authority were involved with the voluntary sector, there'll be other support here. But what we've postulated for this particular build, actually, you could use this as some sort of real quiet area. The one thing, and this is personally speaking, and I bow to medical people, but just being able to stop and stare at a nice view is sometimes quite enough just to get people away and, you know, away from the hustle and bustle of what could be potentially quite a stressful situation downstairs. So, any other particular uses for this? Can anybody sort of identify or have any views? Or stunned silent? Yeah, yeah.
Just partition off into smaller rooms if needed as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have a multi-faith area if you were in the area.
Yeah, speaking like an emergency planner, which is a little bit worrying. So that's good. Yeah, absolutely. So if this was deployed, say for example, as a rest centre, yeah, then it could be deployed. This could be used as a multi-faith area, which is absolutely spot on. Yeah, or as a crash. Absolutely.
If it's a crash.
Yeah.
Got enough disaster there.
Yeah. So yeah, but rooms like this are really good in terms of if you need something or an area with privacy, then this sort of room would be absolutely ideal. And in this particular building, this is how we've demonstrated it. Okay, let's go down to the next floor, floor 7. Up here. Just for this area, ladies and gentlemen, what we've postulated here is this is an air, the air conditioning's been recommissioned in here so we can store vaccine. So, no, that's great, isn't it?
Having got off the 8th floor, which is not as much of it, and that's going to be the same. What was this building before, or when it was in use?
It was owned by a pet food company. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, we want to show you this particular floor. The floors will look relatively the same when they go down, but it's important that you get an appreciation of the full building. So we literally only spend sort of, 5 minutes at each particular location. For this particular exercise, what we postulated for this floor is that I would certainly see this as the main administration floor for the centre. So to actually run the centre, to administer the centre, facilities management offices for people to work in, I think would be good. If you had specific agencies or voluntary sector partners needing particular private office space for their general administration, there's plenty to choose from here as well. The other great thing I think is really good is generally the buildings that we have as a lease as a charity is that you will find that there's power beyond. Part of our role working with our deployment teams is to make sure that this is all tested. So every quarter they'll come up and test that to make sure that it's okay. We also have, in general, a lot of this Cat5 cabling, and the cabling's just left in, which is like really fantastic. That means that if you did want to connect up some sort of remote server, you could do quite easily and simply. So it's important when our guys come and do this, they go to every part of the building and actually try the sockets and make sure they're okay, try the lights, see the general condition of the building. Likewise, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't use this for other uses. Any other suggestions, possibly?
If it was a centre where they were coming over from bringing people back from the UK in mass repack, then you may want HR, Revenue and Customs, the border agency control, checking that they are actually British citizens and they're not just nipping to the nearest country to get a free vaccine.
Which is, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that never happens, no, indeed. So, again, if we just walk around here, we'll go down to the 6th floor and have a look at the potential use there. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Fantastic. To bring into here, and I think that's the important thing.
Well, I think they should knock it down first and put it out again.
You see all the, if you notice what's happening white markers on the floor, that's where they...
So one of the things that we always consider in our training is to try and make sure you have a place for them. Okay? There's a good point from you, Mark, about that. Again, for this particular incident, what we have postulated is that if we have a lot of people that need some sort of mass vaccination treatment, it's really important that you have capacity to deal with them. Now, we've had, what, 20, 30, 40 people tops? Yeah, we could be getting in terms of hundreds. And certainly, during my time as a local authority emergency planner, thinking about capacity and logistics in terms of people coming in, parking their cars, being registered, being triaged, having a pill popped, and then a rest area and a next safe exit route out is really, really important. So again, we would offer our advice to suggest, look at the building, look at what is available in terms of the floors, on what can it do. Now, for me, this floor we have postulated that it's the same as floor 4. So 4, 5 and 6 would be the same in terms of the first triage points, and it could extend up. But likewise, if you needed more admin space and floor 7 wasn't enough, then you could come down quite easily to floor 6. Yeah? Everybody happy with that? Right, let's move to the next one. We're getting there.
There's some interesting cars.
So this is 5, 5, so it's on floor 3. What's on floor 2? Or just, I think we just need to do floor 2 after this, don't we?
2 is a duplicate.
Okay, we'll do quite a state, as you can imagine. They could be old mothballed warehouses or buildings that are in a particularly poor state. This wasn't in a particularly good state when we got it, so we cleaned it up as best we could. You certainly couldn't use it as a rest centre, but we do some training at those buildings as if it could be turned into a rest centre. But it also gives our guys the opportunity to unpack the equipment, check it, try to demonstrate as part of our charitable objects. But as a bare minimum, and again, sort of with our broad offering as a charity, it's quite a significant logistical requirement. Yeah, so storage points or points where are really very, very important. So what we do as a charity is say, okay then, if this is not suitable for human consumption, so to speak, there are other emergency uses under our charitable objects that it could be used for, and we like to try and demonstrate that as well. So this we've set up. Take a quick look around. The next floor we'll go to.
How many people can fit in one room?
The little section at the very end of the corner, that can be used as a first aid area. It's easier access, easier in and out in emergencies.
Yeah.
And we can use the first aid post there before where we can put children.
Yeah, yeah, fine. I mean, that's great, and this is what this training is designed to do. Is it gives you those sorts of ideas. So if you ever deployed here or something similar, you've already got that as a mindset, as a thought pattern about what we could do and how we could divide it up.
Yes.
But would this sort of thing be good for your type of purposes? If you were to be deployed to a building like this, would this be any good?
It could do, and depending on the situation and the scenario we have been and how intense the situation can be. But yes, we would probably, maybe you might have one floor purely for first aid purposes.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can have a little section for
lend themselves, I think, and certainly Christine's done the lion's share of the space planning here. But I think it's absolutely ideal when you're thinking about the sorts of facilities, empty office facilities like this, thinking about where you put family groups is really very, very important. Can you suggest your idea as well, sir, that you had upstairs?
Okay. Well, we had the first aid section labelled. We could put that area for the children or for baby changing. I noticed at the very end of the floor, on the opposite side of the building, where we had a little area from the left, an isolated area. We could use that for a first aid area, which is easier access to getting in and out in an emergency situation and minor things. And if necessary, we use a separate floor as well for the major incidences, if it requires urgent, immediate attention, and we can use that as a temporary ward, as hygiene and clean as possible, and then transfer them to hospital as soon as we could and when we got them stable.
So a lot of flexible use in terms of that as well, which is really good. Okay, then, I'm just going to finish off with just a couple of things in terms of how this building would be licensed and activated. Community resilience is the operational arm of emergency aid. We've now, as I said, we've just come together. We're now one and the same organisation. We're wholly owned by emergency aid, which is the charity. Charity takes on the lease. Community Resilience has 7 regional advisors, for which 2 of them are here, or 3 of them actually. Well, I'd say 2.5, but I don't think I'll be calling Simon a half, actually. But no, Simon does a lot of advisory work as well. But we have 2 advisors. Bill, who looks after this area, London is one of his patches, and Nigel, who is based on the Isle of Wight, you'd never guess it, would you? Based on the Isle of Wight, covers other southern areas and some areas heading towards the Midlands. What they do is they talk to local authorities, the Category 1 responders, possibly even the voluntary sector, and say, we have these buildings available, is it of use, is it of interest? If it is, then we set up a formal licence of use between the charity and the user. That means it gives them access when needed. So they can activate this, and we agree a process where the building can be activated to particular levels. So we may need to recommission the water, say for example, get it flushed through, get it checked. That may take, say for example, 48 hours. But if you're using this facility, say for a couple of months, and you know that it's going to take 48 hours to activate, okay, then you can add that into your planning. So when you're going to your strategic coordination group meeting to say, right, we need this, well, let's activate it now, ready for use in 48, 72 hours time, or whatever the lead time is. And then it's a simple case, we have a 24/7 duty officer scheme through the advisors. They're notified on a 24/7 number, and then they make the necessary arrangements, and we all start running around and getting the building up and running. And that includes trying to source or sourcing some of the equipment that we have. As you've seen, we've got tables, chairs, and we've also got camp beds and various other equipment. The local authorities may provide us with that, health services, or they may use mutual aid as well from other local authorities as well. The last part of our hereditaments, which is a legal term for the parts of the lease that we can use, is obviously the other floors which you've seen, but also the car parking spaces. And that's really important, so we can use the car parking spaces. They are available to us as well in terms of our charitable use for this building. Are there any questions at all, any comments, feedback before we all start up?
Yeah, I've got a question. If the lifts were not in operation, would you still be allowed to use this building?
Yes, you could. You could.
How would you get people in wheelchairs?
Well, you'd have to recommission. Finally from me, thank you all very, very much for your kind participation today. Arrangements will see. And I look forward to at least 4 or 5 applications coming up at some stage. Okay then, listen, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea.